Today we have with us Mrs. Monique Forgie-Scott. She's the Manager of Collections Development at the National Library of Jamaica. Prior to that, she was the Head of Digital Resources. Under her stewardship, the National Library of Jamaica, NLJ Digital, was registered and trademarked with the Jamaica Intellectual Property and MA degrees in Library and Information Studies from the University of West Indies. In her current position, she is responsible for building the national collection through the acquisition of print and electronic resources pertaining to Jamaica's recorded heritage and contemporary history. She also manages the administration of the ISBN service on behalf of the CARICOM Secretariat. And I know you guys will be interested in that part. In her spare time, catch Monique at local theaters cracking up with laughter. She enjoys a play. Her favorite to date is Class of 73 with Oliver Samuels, Camille Davis, and others. I'm checking in my phone and we're live. I see 3 persons are with us. So I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Scott to, in her presentation. So take it away.
Can you go back to the first slide, Ruth? I'm seeing us today. The National Library's holdings constitute the most comprehensive collection of Jamaica documentary, offering an invaluable representation of Jamaica's history and heritage. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please don't leave us because you're gonna be well informed today. After today, you might very well be able to work in the National Library of Jamaica. Move to the next slide, please. All right, so today, this will be my focus, looking at the mission of the National Library, the type of documents we collect, and how, with specific focus on legal deposit. I look at the services we provide to publishers, and finally, how you can benefit from having your works at the National Library of Jamaica. Next slide. So this is our mission. Our mission statement is as follows. We enhance the quality of life and prosperity of all citizens by acquiring, preserving, and providing access to Jamaica's cultural and historical information through research and education. This is our mandate, folks, to build the national collection. This is the whole point of National Library's existence. Next slide, please. What do we collect?
Right, are you seeing it?
Yes. All right, so these are the drivers of our collection development policy. Whatever we collect will fall into one of these categories. All resources, print or electronic, that are published or issued in Jamaica, published or produced by Jamaicans living abroad, published or produced about Jamaica and Jamaicans, and those you can also see that if there are resources having to do with the English-speaking Caribbean, looking at slavery and trade, we also collect those. We also collect photos and programs because they too tell a story. Look at that letter there on your right. It was a letter to Reverend Enos Natal in 1861, which was taken from his private manuscript donated to the National Library. So we're gonna look some more into how is it that we go about collecting all these resources. Look at postcards, flyers, private papers, funeral programs. Persons might ask, you know, why funeral programs? Just that these two tell a story. Go on to the next slide, please. So we build a national collection through these 3 main avenues: legal deposit, purchase, and donation. And we also download content from websites and the media. Purchase and the donation are self-explanatory. So we will only talk about legal deposits, which comes up on my next slide. Okay, so legal deposit really is a statutory provision. The Act came into force on October 11, 2004, and requires all national publishers to deposit copies of their works to the National Library. So national publishers should deposit 2 copies of a printed document and 1 copy of an audiovisual document. So this year, the Legal Deposit Act, in terms of when it came into operation, is all of 16 years. And we will have our usual celebration, albeit a virtual one, this year. So you can look out for communications from our plans via email, website, and social media. I should point out here before I continue that for a document to be considered a legal deposit, it must be published in Jamaica. Outside of that, it would be a voluntary deposit, which is really a fancy term for donations. Next slide, please. Right, so now we're gonna look at some of the services we provide for publishers. And the first one, ISBN. This service is provided on behalf of the CARICOM Secretariat. We are the only agency authorized to assign ISBNs to local publishers of books and other book-related products. But in order to be eligible to register with us, applicants must be resident in Jamaica. That is the first. But if you reside outside of Jamaica and you must have someone else make the request on your behalf, or you would need to apply through the agency associated with that country in which you are living at the time. So to get started, you register by completing the ISBN registrant element form. You complete the ISBN request application form, you pay the requisite fees, and using a wire transfer or bank draft, an international bank draft that is. And I must also tell you that for each format of a title, you should have a separate ISBN. So if you do a title, The Cow Jump Over the Moon, and you do an ebook version of that, you do a paperback version, those two will take 2 numbers just like that. So each version or each format takes its own ISBN, and each title its own ISBN. Right? In terms of the fees, I didn't have them here, but to register is 20 US, and a single ISBN is for 20 US also, but there are discounts if you purchase in blocks, and all of that information you can find on our website at that are below on the slide. ISBN, you can see the cost for each block of 10, a block of 100, a block of 1,000, a block of 10,000. The fees are there. But for okay, so I was saying that for an ISBN it's 20 US, and but there are discounts if you purchase in blocks. The smallest block is 10, contains 10 numbers. Then you have a block of 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So for the block of 10, that would be 50 US. For the block of 100 I think it's $300, and it goes up. But you will realize significant discounts when you purchase a block. But remember, again, you have to be resident in Jamaica to use our services, or you would have to appoint somebody or authorize somebody to conduct ISBN requests on your behalf. And as what I was also saying, that for each format of a title, you should have an ISBN. So if your title is The Cow Jumps Over the Moon, and you're gonna do an e-version of that, you're gonna do a paperback version of that, maybe an audiobook, those formats each require its own ISBN, right? And the payment to pay for your ISBN is either you pay via wire transfer or you pay via an international bank draft. And then you will you bring the drop the draft off at the National Library of Jamaica, or you submit proof of payment via wire transfer to us so that we can communicate with CARICOM. Okay. Our next service is International Standard Serial Number, ISSN. That one is for serials. So your journals, your magazines, and other forms of continuing resources. This service is free. All you need to do is to complete and submit the application form with the relevant information. And again, you can go to our website, ifnlg.gov.jm/ISSN, and you will see how it is that process is completed. Also, we offer cataloging in publication. And this is where a bibliographic record of your publication is created before the book is actually published. So before the book is published, the publisher will submit a request to the National Library asking for CIP. And then now when the CIP is submitted, when the book is being printed, it should be printed on the copyright page of the book. I've heard of cases where people apply for the CIP, but they didn't know what it was for, and they would file it away somewhere safe. And when the book is printed, it's not in the book. That's not how it goes. It should be inside the book. Okay. So, yes. And as I said before, this service is also free, so it doesn't take much to get it. You know, you don't have any challenge other than just to submit your request and follow the instructions that are on the website. And I'll put the link there as well. Okay. So that is it for services to publishers. May I see the next slide, please?
It's there. It's just that it's a little. There's a couple seconds delay, but you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So now, why should you? You might ask, you know, what is there for me when I deposit my rec or I donate my rec to the National Library? There are many reasons, but here are some of the main ones on the slide right there. A safe and secure environment for your items. Continued.
We're gone again. Let's check. This is terrible. StreamYard. Mrs. Scott, we lost you. You can pick up on the benefits. We lost you momentarily. Are you hearing me, Mrs. Scott? Yes, pick up back on the benefits. We lost you momentarily.
Okay, on the benefits. So I was saying we provide you with a safe and secure environment for your items, continued conservation and preservation of your items for use by current and future generations. I mean, when your publication would have gone out of print, the National Library would have it here for current and future generations. So I think that is a good thing. And I've known people who have the last copy of their work misplaced, and they came back to the National Library of Jamaica so they were able to view their documents. I remember this man came to me once and he said to me, I remember depositing my DVDs here because he does film. I remember, and he said, I deposited my film here and I want to make a copy of it. May I please see it? And I said, may I have the title of your film? And he gave me the information. And when I checked our record, it showed that title was not on the list at all. So I took the information back to him and I said to him, these are what you deposited. You did not deposit that film. And he was saying, oh my God, you know, it's true. I remember coming to the library and I was planning on depositing the work, but I wasn't quite finished with it. So I decided that I was going to do it another time. You know what happened to that gentleman's film? The place that he had them got burnt down.
Oh.
Burnt down. And if those things were here, he would have been able to make a copy of his work because it is his, and we do that prevent you from making copies of your own work. So, need I say more about that? So, we will act as a backup for your valuable documents, right?
Yes.
And we provide unrestricted access to your documents through digitization. So as the time changes, you know, and the publication might be getting quite old and brittle and you name it, we will digitize those so that access can be constant, right? And also we provide international access in the sense that we have an online catalog which is worldwide. It's available. When you search our catalog, you can search from anywhere in the world.
Wow.
That is
Okay.
our yes. So we'll put your information in our catalog, and when persons are searching, they can find your publication here at the National Library of Jamaica.
Okay.
And also, right. And also, we provide you with some networking and support by connecting you with the relevant stakeholders in the industries. So we might know publishers, we might know illustrators, we might know editors, and we will say, I know this person, make contacts. So we put you in line with those persons. Okay? And,
excellent.
right. And so we
If
also
we
provide you with
just a little bit there. So you're saying, Mrs. Scott, if
Mhm.
persons want an editor, an illustrator, and they don't know where to go, then they could contact the National Library of Jamaica, and you would be able to give them recommendations.
Yes, put them in contact with somebody because from our because we try to help our publishers, because whatever they publish ultimately makes its way into the National Library. So we want their products to be very good.
Yes.
So we try to put them in line with persons in those industries, right? Because if it's good for them, it's good for us as well.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Right. And so we also provide physical spaces in the sense that we will provide you with our space to host your book launches, your film and music album launches. Yes, and we will provide you with the PA system and videography, and a chance for your launch to be featured in the print media. We have had launches here, and they were in the papers. Yes. So that is an opportunity. We also promote the work on our social media. So you come to the library, maybe you're not having a launch, but you visit to make a presentation, and then that will be placed on our social media site for person to see that, oh yes, see Ruth Taylor deposited their work today. Here it is, the title is so and so, and a little overview of your work for persons to see and come to the National Library to view it if they want to. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is. Is there a cost for the launch, to host the launch at the library?
No, absolutely
it's
no
free?
cost involved. It's free. You do but we provide you with the space, we provide you with the space, and we'll provide you with the videography and the PA system.
The
or you can bring your own. I mean, we have we have a department here that is audiovisual. So we will do the audio, we'll do the video and those things for free.
For free?
But most persons will bring their own.
Okay.
Yes.
That is worth the entire presentation.
But you would have to find your own people to come. You'll have to provide your own food and those kind of things, and you'll be responsible for your own marketing and promoting and so forth. So we provide you with that. The only challenge with the videography or photography is it depends on the day of the week. Maybe the photographer is not available, or the videographer is not available on that day, but it's a service that we provide.
Wow, I didn't know that about how many persons can. It's almost like we've jumped into the Q&A about how many persons can attend the launch if we have it at the National Library. How many persons can you facilitate?
All right, inside our main reading room, we can host up to, maybe 80 persons.
80 persons. Wow, that's good.
I think the reading room can hold 80 persons, and then we have the foyer. Like for the overflow.
Yes.
If there's an overflow, they could occupy the foyer. And sometimes, I remember one person, she had it in the foyer. One person, she used both spaces. So it's good. So it's good. I don't know if you know her name, Mary White. Mary White, she's one of those motivational speaker, writer.
Yes. I connected with her earlier this year.
Yes, she had her launch here and it was beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it?
Pardon?
her book. Do you remember her book title? Glass house, something
Glass,
about glass.
glass houses.
Glass
Glass
houses, right?
houses.
Yes, I was
Right,
in touch
yeah.
with her earlier this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So what only thing persons would need to do is to submit a letter to the National Library and requesting permission to use the space. And
Wow, just submit a letter. Wow,
yes, you just submit because yes, and then we'll make ourselves available.
that's good. This has been worth the presentation and the information about the cataloging for me, because I've always been interested
Yeah.
in that, because when you read traditional books, there is always something about Library of Congress
Congress
cataloging.
cataloging in publication.
Yes, and I've
Yes.
wondered, how do we get that? And is that something
Oh,
available to independent
oh,
authors and publishers?
yes, it
So
is.
you're
It
saying the
is.
National Library provides that? Because I have a book here I'm looking at, and it says Library of Congress Cataloging and Publishing Data, and it
Mm-hmm.
states, the information for the author. And
Yes,
I was
yes,
wondering, it's right there on the copyright page. So you said before
yes,
we publish,
yes,
we can contact you regarding that.
yes. But I am not the manager in charge of that. But you can
Okay,
submit it to you when you go to the website, you'll see the email address, and you can send it to the general National Library email address, and they'll forward it to the relevant branch. So not
excellent.
no big,
That is
no
key.
big.
That is new information, and that is
It's
key.
just follow the instructions.
Just follow the instructions.
Yes.
Let me see if you have another slide.
No. Well, the last one just to say thank you and just to ask you to try and help us in any way you can. Share the word. Visit our website
Right.
and social media pages. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to turn it over and get some questions from the audience.
Okay.
And I see 4 persons watching live, but we are a group of over 100. So some persons will watch it later. So those who are joining, Davia, Melissa, Suzanne, if you have any questions, let us know. I'll display it on the screen and we can answer them. So is there anything Mrs. Forgie-Scott said that wasn't clear or you need more information on? Well, let me ask one. How do we join the National Library?
So you can become a member by completing a registration form, providing your ID and your proof of address. Come on
Okay.
in. I'm not certain if it is being done online now, but I know when everything was normal, you'll
Yes.
complete the registration form in-house and you would submit your ID and some ID, yes, and proof of address. And that is it. You get a membership card.
Okay, so to join the National Library, so it's not just you being an author and you submit your books for the legal deposit.
No.
You have to produce your proof of address,
Your ID,
and
yes.
fill out some form.
You complete the registration form.
So if you want to become a member of the National Library of Jamaica, you need your ID, proof of address, and fill out the registration form. But
That's it.
do we have to be a member in order to access the services that you spoke about before? Use of the property. I mean, the National Library.
No.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? This is a very important lady, and we have about 15 more minutes for presentation, for questions. We want to thank you for taking the time to come. Now is the time. So if you have any question about ISBNs, National Library, let me look back at some of the things that she shared. What about the digital version? You said that, for example, if a man lost his register, the film.
Yes.
What happens if the National Library gets burned down? God forbid. What happens to all the information that we
have?
shared?
All right. Well, the because the National Library has made sure to put in place a digitization plan.
Okay.
So we're constantly digitizing, but one of the things that we have to be concerned, well, be mindful of is the fact that there is copyright.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't necessarily want to be digitizing everything,
Okay.
every page. So if the National Library burns to the ground, those that have been digitized are safe because those are kept on backup servers and offsite storage and so forth.
Right.
But it would be a great loss.
Okay.
It would be a
Got
great
it.
loss.
We have some questions coming in, and one of those on the screen right now is, what specific service do you offer for Jamaican authors living abroad? Because we have some Jamaican members from the diaspora in the States. So can you speak to that?
So if you're living abroad, I don't know. I don't know in terms of the services that we provide. If it is that the person living abroad wants to publish the work in Jamaica, so we could provide a VIP and so forth. And if they want a local ISBN, then they'll just have to authorize somebody to record it on their behalf.
Okay, cool. So for persons, Jamaicans living overseas, you can still utilize the service if you want to be published in Jamaica, as in your publisher is registered in Jamaica, meaning the publishing company name that you're using. When you say published in Jamaica, what does that mean?
Okay, so to be published in Jamaica, in terms of you're applying for an ISBN, it means you have to be resident in Jamaica, right?
Okay.
But I know of persons who want to use our ISBNs on their publications, and they know that if they are living abroad, if they're not eligible. So what they would have done is to ask somebody who's resident here, a family member, friend, and ask them to do it on their behalf. So that person really and truly would be registering him or herself.
Oh, but how does that help the author? Because, for example, when you apply for an ISBN, right, you have to use a publishing imprint. I see some other questions there. I'm going to bring them up, so don't leave, guys. So my publishing imprint is Extra Mile Innovators, or EMI.
Right.
So if I have a Jamaican living overseas that wants to publish with
Through you?
EMI, yeah, and doesn't live here, then I apply.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you
So
are a resident here. So it doesn't matter
as long as I live here.
Yeah, the publisher. Yes.
Oh, and I think overseas persons can still use the library because you have this referral service for
yes, in terms of research. In terms of research, yes, in terms of research, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are because we have a very good research team, and they are here to answer any queries that a person might have. So all you need to do is to submit a query via email. Via email, they can go on the website how to submit your research query, and they'll see research. The email address is research@nlj.gov.jm. Whatever the query is, just submit it to that email address, and somebody will get in touch with you.
So can you repeat it again? That address is research
at nlj.gov.
At nlj.gov.jm. So if you're living overseas and you need some information, some research information for your book, then you can use that. All right. So here's another question. Are there writing opportunities offered to emerging writers?
In terms of?
For example, new authors who want to learn to write. I offer, for example, a course that helps nonfiction authors to outline, and I do boot camps. Or if somebody, do you have seminars, anything like that to help emerging writers?
Yes, as I was saying before, each October we have these celebrations. We have this as part of our celebration of Legal Deposit Month. we have a seminar catered to publishers, writers, all those persons. And what we do, as I said before, we get persons in those in the industry to come and speak to them, field all the questions, present to them, and that is what we do. We bring the persons so they'll be able to tap into that knowledge. We are ourselves are not necessarily able to say, this is what you do, this is what you do not do, but we put you in contact with the persons who do.
Following that, is there any awards that you guys provide? Like, are there any writers awards or anything that you do that perhaps emerging writers could benefit from as an opportunity? Do you promote those things, or is there any?
Well, that's a good idea. We not at the moment, but that's a good idea.
All
That's
right.
a good idea. That's a good
Here's
idea.
another question. I'm coming to your question soon, Paul. All your questions will be answered. Is there a particular time when the facilities can be accessed day and night? And considering COVID, shelter in place, and the other restrictions, is there a particular time when the facilities can be accessed?
Well, since March, we've been closed to the public.
Closed to the public since March?
Yes, because of the COVID. But under normal circumstances, it's 9 to 5. Okay. But if you but in terms of the research, there's no, day or night doesn't matter. It's in your query.
Okay. So when you say close to the public, like, I haven't deposited any of my books. So I'm in big trouble, right? And I have helped about 20 authors to publish. So all of these, I have to go back and come back with and deposit and register. What am I going to do so that you are close to the public?
Well, you can come and drop them off because we are here. We are here. Okay. So you can drop them off.
Persons are there.
Yes, all of us are there.
So we just put it in a box and just drop it off, or is there a form to be filled out? What's the process?
There's a legal deposit form to be completed. So when you are making your deposit, there's a form. I'm glad you asked that question. So you complete the form with the bibliographic information, the ISBN, everything about the publication, and you sign it and date it and submit it to us. We would sign it and stamp it and give you back a copy of it because that serves as your receipt of deposit. And you had said something about copyright earlier. In the event that somebody would want to contest your work, you could very well use that receipt that you submitted to say that on this 14th day of August 2020, I made my deposit of this content to the National Library of Jamaica. So I did this a long before you, things like that. So it can be used in cases like that. But the copyright has copyright. You have to go to Jam Copy for that.
Right. So the proper place to register your copyright is Jam Copy.
Jam Copy, yes.
But
Jam
this can
Copy.
serve as a backup as well in
yes.
Somebody contesting your copyright.
Yes.
Excellent.
Because you can show that you on this particular day I made my deposit of this publication at the National Library of Jamaica. And you also do that thing where you mail it to yourself, So you have.
But I hear that doesn't work in terms of the
anymore. It doesn't anymore.
It's not so much valid because once you write something and you organize, you own the copyright. The next thing is to register it.
Yes, registration. That's that.
And it's who registers it early enough and prove that it is theirs will be the person.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Here's another. Let me take this one first. I think this one is coming from Paul. What is in place? Just mentioned, which is you can drop it off there. So do you wait the same day to pick up back when it is dropped off? How long do you have to wait to get back the stamped form? Do you have to review the form or anything?
You're breaking up. But what we do, because we have to check the books to ensure that they are in good conditions. We have to check to see that the pages are properly numbered. The leaves are not falling out of the publication. and the covers are not falling off and so forth. So we have to check, we have to verify first. So in doing that, I want to ensure that the numbers inside the publications are the same as what's on the form. So we have to verify the information first. So that might take a little time depending on how many. If it's a one title, that wouldn't be so difficult to do. So with the entire transaction could take about 10 to 15 minutes. 15 is really a lot. It wouldn't take so long. But it's just that we need to verify.
So like my set will take a long time. But can you do it bit by the questions quickly? Because there's a lot.
Okay.
And we have about, well, officially 4 minutes. All right, here's another question. Joanne is saying, my publication is a magazine and I was told I don't need to submit it. Should I still do it? Do things remain the same, or do I need the ISBN for the magazine? I think you were saying that you would need the ISSN.
ISSN, yes. ISSN, International Standard Serial Number, yes, for that, because it's a continuing resource. It's not a one-off. So she would need the ISSN. And she was told that she didn't need to submit it. I don't know who told her that.
Well, yes, you would need to submit it, Joanne.
Yes. If once you would have put it out there in the market for public consumption, please submit it to National Library, 2 copies.
Right, 2 copies. So Joanne, submit your 2 copies of Come Make We Worship, because it's out there in international circulation. But you would need an ISSN number. So, and she gets that right
from us,
because N is a number, right? So you can contact the National Library to find out how to get that. She also says, because she's a songwriter, she says, I mailed my song to myself. My mom came across it somewhere when I was traveling and opened it. What does that? You still own the copy when it is mailed to yourself. Is it that you keep it and you never open it? How does the poor man's copyright work?
Never open.
Never open.
Yeah, you're not supposed to open it.
Wow. Well, I prefer to just register my copyright.
Yes. where you can get royalties, right?
Where I can get royalties, right. We'll be going back to the live book launch. I'm trying to figure out what they're saying. Will you be going back to the live book launch anytime soon? Because of COVID, I suppose they're asking that. We don't know.
We don't know.
She can't answer that because nobody knows how long the epidemic will last. All right. Yeah, Joanne was saying that you only open the poor man's copyright, the bundle that you mail to yourself with the document, if someone challenges it. But I heard a lawyer say that that doesn't hold up much, so I don't know. Just register your copyright within 3 months after publication. Go to JamCopy and register your copyright, or in whichever country you are, find out what's the name of the copyright agency and register it. But for ebooks, though, for example, when you publish on Amazon, they don't require an ISBN.
I heard somebody say when you are doing Kindle.
Yeah, the Kindle is the same Amazon. They don't require an ISBN.
That's what somebody told me. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's optional, but some persons still apply for it.
Okay. Right. It's optional, but you can apply for it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, final question is 11 o'clock. Her songs are registered with JCAP for royalty collection. I'm trying to distinguish between JCAP, JamCopy, and the National Library. What's the connection with all 3? Is it one or the other? Based on the discussion, I know you both register with JamCopy or copyright and you can gain royalty. Register the copyright with the National Library, as in leave your deposit there and use your leave your books there, use the form as a backup. So I see those. How does a JCAP work?
The JCAP is the music people, Jamaica Association of Composers, Authors, and Publishers.
Authors, as in authors of songs and music, or authors of books?
So let me look. I'm looking at their website right now.
Because I'm confused, but I think Joan is saying here that jam copy is for print books, and then JCAP is for the musician. It's for
Songs,
musicians.
music, so, yes, that's what I'm seeing. Something
Okay.
about song / musical compositions.
All right. Well, because the internet has been unstable, I'm just going to take one more question, and it's 2:07. Yeah.
I think they license music. Jam copy is for print.
Does need not worry about jam copy. But what about, here's one, the intellectual, can you answer as it relates to trademarking and intellectual property rights?
Trademarking?
What can you tell us about intellectual property rights and JIPO as it relates to authors?
I'm not certain, you know. JIPO is completely, I think it's a different entity. I don't know. I know you can get your trademark and patent and those things at JIPO. But in terms of the relationship with the National Library, I don't see it, because we are specifically about copyright would be our thing.
Right.
You know, if we have any discussion in that matter, it would be about copyright, but not in terms of trademarking. Yes.
Okay. Because the two are related, and there needs the copyright and your intellectual property rights. Thank Mrs. Scott for joining us and taking the time. We've learned some valuable information, and we'll be following up. And we know many more persons will watch the replay. So thank you so much for your patience, and we've learned a lot. Have a great day.
You're welcome. You too. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.